Welcome to When It's Dark, People Walk in Circles, 49 minutes of immersion or let it go. An audio exhibition conceived to be perceived without the sense of vision and touch. To move between these parameters will mean that all ideas could be possible and that our scenario is unlimited and dreamy, and the vision and understanding will depend on each one fantasy and imaginary resources.
And the fog came to the city, and everyone got blind. And after the panic came the excitement, because all of us could touch and fuck, and love was democratized, and tongues bonded with holes, and wrinkles with hormones, everyone for everyone. And the city was calm, and the city was happy and excited, and there was oxytocin everywhere. One day, the fog left the town, and we became aware again. Aware of our bodies and other bodies. And nobody touched anymore, and nobody kissed so freely, and nobody fuck guiding themselves only from the smell of the other. So, the citizens decided to take their eyes out.
Empezar con Boris Vian, con un arrancarse los ojos, con un let it go. Come with me. Let's start. Here is the entrance. There is no door. Behind this point, there is no light anymore. We are going to explore the deep guts of this reverberating exhibition.
It is recommended that your left hand touches your right hand, very slowly, very caring. Without seeing, you are going to be more perceptive.
These rooms contain part of my research, part of my work, and part of my dreams. Later, you can choose which one would you like to enter. Welcome to the immense darkness. Do you remember the intro of the movie Rocky Horror Picture Show? This sexy red mouth comes to the viewer, growing its size, and is starting singing. Becomes hypnotic, and we are transformed into insects attracted to the reddish color, looking to mimic its movements, to impersonate its attitude. The viewer is transformed into a desire machine, singing about science fiction. I cannot imagine a better welcome. Look now at these white walls surrounding us. Thousands of red leaves are placed on them, constantly moving, making strange gestures. Some of these mouths are flat and digital, like screens. Other mouths are sculptorical, having a wide spectrum of volumes, sizes, shapes, textures. Some are laughing, others panting, others crying or shouting. It is fantastic to see them all together feeling at the same time. Such energy. On the floor of this reception room, a black and white video where we only see a female mouth with the lips, the teeth and the tongue speaking very fast in a schizo monologue. The rest of the face is blurred, so it highlights the choreography of the tongue when speaking.
Little thing before it's time, and a coffer. What? Me? Yes, tiny little me. Into this, out into this, before my time. God-forsaken hole called, no matter, shape unknown, unheard of. Similarly, 1 minute later, 8 months later, almost to the tick. So no aim, so no love. Spared that, sharing love of any kind, at any subsequent stage. Looking for a typical affair. Nothing of any note till raising my leg up. What? 70 times. The other leg then. Coming up to 70. Wandering in a bed. Wandering under the bed. Looking aimlessly for cowslips. To make a ball. A few steps and stop. A few movements then hold. A fiercely touch and then stare into space. Then on. A few more. Stop and stare again. So on. Drifting around. When suddenly, gradually, all went out. All that early December morning light. And I found myself in the... What? Who? No. Me. I found myself in the dark. 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 Found myself in the dark.
Mouth, mouth, mouth. Every day we are surrounded by mouths. Mouths are very inspiring body parts to work with. They are the magnifiers of the voice, orifices that welcome, that vomit, so beautiful they loop in character. A spotlight in the middle of the room. Silence. A blue stone standing there, lonely and solid. You are now hearing the music from Me, You, Us, Brexit, Me, UK, Us, You. The video is a close-up of a female face in a very steady mood. She has a timeless beauty. Her mouth is the only thing that seems to be in movement. A blue stone trying to come from her mouth. She keeps holding the stone with her teeth. With her tongue is pushing it. The teeth could break. They are solid and at the same time very fragile. The tongue is the viscose and a strong body behind it. There is a tension between bodies. There is a beautiful resistance. The stone finally falls. There is a naked female body laying down and breathing. The blue stone is in the top of her nipple. It is making equilibrium, standing there, while the teeth keeps moving up and down during each breathing. The stone finally falls. This work is about Brexit.
It is recommended that now you bite your tongue a little bit, that your wet tongue tries to stroke every inch of your lips, in repetition, very slowly. And once your lips are covered by saliva, stretch your lips, open your mouth.
The spotlight has now disappeared, and also the blue stone. The video about Brexit is off. Let's go to the next room. Here, the steam, the sweat, the bounce, the full gallop bodies, up and down, jumping, moving in a collective ritual. We are like fluids in this dancing room. As dancing machines, we keep transforming and mutating our inner running waters into sweat, into warm rivers that burst through our skins, into shared saliva. We become the watery bodies, dancing in common oceanic undergrounds. The sound of the bass howling through the speakers, the floor and walls vibrating. We can feel an inner thunder coming through our bodies, from the bottom to our heads. The flash strobe lights altering our consciousness, altering our perception. We lose control of our movements. We let ourselves go. This dancing space is also called Frau Trofea room. In this room, everything started with one person too. She came here and shook her body and bounced her head very slowly. There was no music here at the beginning. She was moving her shoulders. It seemed that she was hallucinating some sort of song. Then she moved repeatedly her hair, her arms, her feet, her hands, and she started to smile. Once she began to dance, her body could not stop moving. So she danced for hours, danced for days, and danced during weeks. We decided to bring some musicians and some DJs to play live. She's the one in the middle of the dance floor now. After weeks in trance, people started joining her. Her movement became contagious. Now, there are thousands of people dancing in this room, dancing for months now, hugging, kissing, touching, sharing fingers and mouths. They are lost in their own minds, getting back to their memories and joining this collective healing ritual. Pure ecstasy, pure exhaustion. Since the dancing plague of 1528, there is not a concluding explanation for this collective behavior, but multiple theories. And it's fascinating to make suppositions and to imagine that the act of dance is so powerful that the only possible option is to dance until the end of your time. The beauty of decadence. Be careful if you choose this room to visit later. The passive observer role was obsolete in the 2000s, and now all experiences require from you activity and decision, and it's addictive to touch while moving. The touch.
It is recommended at this point to put the palm of your hand on your cheek and feel how warm it is. Two bodies are part of the same body. Put this palm on the top of your nose and mouth, covering your face. Move it through your face, up and down, squeeze it, pressure it, rub each other. Do a hand-face dance.
The tension, the resistance, the fluidity. Have you thought about the last time you collectively danced?
Mixed with the physical bodies are the digital ones. Here it doesn't matter if some inhabit digital landscapes and others inhabit the material side. We are breaking boundaries and we are permeating the screen.
All of us become dancers, all of us moving in repetition, marching in a loop, decontextualized from any object or context.
Our cultural history is full of examples where our bodies have been pushed to empathy and matched with machines, seeing how our movements are totally automatized and mechanized. Our economic paradigm seems to dictate and control our behavior.
If we isolate a gesture and we repeat it during a certain time, the movement will become absurd and therefore easier to analyze. Our gestures can define our identities and our behaviors.
This room is a rebellious and evasive response to a specific political and economic context.
Virtual choreography works as an open database of gestures and movements online, mapping areas, recording each inhabitant, asking them to repeat the gesture they do the most during the day for a minute.
This room manifests through dance and repetition.
Floating bodies and disconnected movements in the virtual space, questioning our corporal limits and analyzing our inherent feeling and failure towards the concept of infinite repetition.
This room is the symbol of infinite movement.
Wondering how we move, or what makes us move.
Our bodies are resistance.
Some creatures appear. They are half human, half animal, or not even half. I couldn't also say they have something human. They are all hybrid creatures for sure. Transformed bodies. The infinite horizontal stage. But there is no stage, just curtains. A size human egg that breaks. And from its inside, melted stairs and chairs keep filling the room. Take a seat in one of them when they get hard. The ones with the cushions, please. The chair is not a static object. It keeps moving in the room. The name of this space, the surrealist room, the ritual of the body in transformation, understanding that we are not fixed elements or bodies, we are in constant transformation and mutation, and this process has no limit or gender, shape or species. To be able to understand that everything changes and we are beings in constant mutation. This mutation of our bodies is very performative and choreographic. Let yourself go on this ride through this rabbit hole. The feeling of escaping from oneself, from a situation, from a place. How to break the human body and combine it with other beings, with animals, with a freedom of forms, shapes, and relations.
We, the fiercey girls, the crazy, playful ones, who are not afraid to cut our bodies to mix our bones with animals or feed them with our blood. One of us cut her nipple and fed a bat, while holding the knife she struck a hairy cat. Other of us, resilient on the cold nights, became an outsider in her own town and decided to embrace scavenger attitudes and took a carry-on tightened to her head. The last one had very beautiful, wet dreams. Her lovers didn't need to have a human shape, they just needed to own a tongue. 2 koalas arrived and started to lick her tits. It is recommended in this room to keep turning the head from left to right with a pause every time we complete one of these actions. This allows us to change our position when listening to these words. It is also recommended that your hand stroke the closest element to your body. Feel that texture, the temperature, and imagine this object is not this object anymore, and it has been transformed into a hybrid being. You are petting the head of an animal with melting human legs.
This means that while we are moving through this room, we are walking into something aqueous. And let me tell you that this liquid shines, is neon color running under our feet. This liquid neon is starting to move and take consistency. It's making shapes, still not very recognizable. The liquid neon keeps growing and moving. It seems to be forming a fold leg. The liquid neon keeps changing and moving. An arm shape seems to emerge, stretching towards the ceiling. The liquid neon gets viscosity. The shapes are clearer. A kind of female humanoid seems to impersonate a worm. The liquid neon keeps changing and moving. Un río como poema para ser silbado.
What if I transform myself into a cloud? I will transform into an eye. What if I will convert into a piece of shit? I will transform into a fly. What if I become an apple? I will transform into a kiss. What if I will transform into a chest? I will convert into a white sheet.
Which parts are an hallucination and which ones are a dramatic reality? Desire, hidden sexual impulses keep on transforming in continuous flux. Ahí está el público. Que pase. The viscose neon has conquered almost all the floor of the whole room while we speak. The viscose neon now has mutated into an octopus with an open human legs and tentacles. Neon rivers are passing between our legs and they point in the direction of our next room. All is in continuous transformation and mutation. Let's abandon for a moment the red and yellows, the impersonations, and the impossible creatures and dancers of the night. We need some rest.